So next up we had Marek Kirejczyk, who is lead engineer at Universal Login and CEO at Ethworks.
Thank you. Thanks. So how are you guys? We're getting closer to the end. Who liked the conference? Hands up. Okay, I can see. Okay, cool. Cool. Who's sleeping? Hands up. Okay, 2 guys. Good. It's not a bad result. So what we're going to talk about today is universal login. And before we do that, just a couple words about myself. So I founded a company called Ethworks 2 years ago, which is an agency, software house, focused solely on Ethereum-related projects. We do design, we do concepts, we build DApps, smart contracts, of course, custom blockchains, bridges, and most recently we went into formal verification. And we've been lucky to work with some of the top brands in our space, including Ethereum Foundation, Bitcoin, and with some noble brands outside blockchain space. And I think it will not come as a surprise to you that we keep struggling with the similar problems with many different customers when we try to build application, DApps, or all kinds of different applications built on top of Ethereum. And the problem, you probably all know, called usability, came into the picture. And I think when you want to solve a problem, it's super important that you actually define what the problem is very, very precisely. And we talk a lot with our customers, and we figure out what happens when people say, well, Ethereum is hard to use, Ethereum has usability problem. It really means one of the 4 things. People either mean onboarding is hard, or they think fund security is hard, or they say, requiring Web3 enabled browser is difficult to convince the user to, or paying fees in tokens is something that's impossible. So to give you an example, I don't think it's a surprise for most of you. You already heard the story, but there is a very popular Ethereum tutorial on the web, 17 steps to buy Ethereum. And you know the drill. You need to choose a wallet, install, backup, store backup, open wallet. You need to copy the address. You need to pick an exchange. You need to register. You need to set up 2-factor because it's super important to be safe. You need to verify account, go through KYC, deposit money, buy Ether, confirm with KYC, and then you can finally send Ether to your wallet. But you need to confirm first. Then you can finally go to EtherScan and keep refreshing as long as you finally see the transaction is received, when you can go to finally play with CryptoKitties or whatever is the application you would like to use. Fund security is also a well-known problem. There is a bunch of usability studies that says nobody is backupping seed phrases. Hardware wallets are also a part of the problem, and where do we store it? We have multi-sig wallets which are extremely hard to use. And there is, I think, common agreement that fund security and key storage is still a major problem. Another challenge is if you go to any startup outside the Ethereum space and you ask people, you can start using your startup, all you have to do first is, install Brave, install Opera, or just install a plugin to your browser like MetaMask. Yeah, that's gonna cut conversions to close to 0, and nobody's gonna do it. And even 2 weeks ago, I was explaining the concept to someone and showed, look how difficult it is with MetaMask. And he's like, what's that? Is that a plugin? Who uses that, right? Outside of tech-savvy users, except of power users, people don't use even things like plugins. People don't install software at all. That's not what you do these days. And last but not least is important usability problem, but also important business problem for many of those startups that issue their own token and now want to run a crypto economy on top of that. But to be able to pay a fee, to be able to pay something in token, to be able to use token to do something, you still need Ether on your account. And that raises natural question as, why do you need a token in the first place? Why can I just use Ether to run my crypto economy? And we actually had a customer that would say they would give people their tokens. They had a lot of traction. They gave tokens to a lot of people who received payment in tokens instead of transfer in US dollars. And they say like the most common question on customer support was, how do I transfer my fund? I have insufficient funds message, even though I have a lot of token. Good. So how do we solve it? So what we want to do is we want to take those Web 3.0 concept and bring it to Web 2.0, build a Web 2.0 experience. How would you do onboarding in Web 2.0? Where what you would basically do is you ask user to register, allow him to deposit money by, putting up some credit card number, and off you go. You can start using, right? So it's a big reduction, and this is a flow we're working on that we hope to have production ready early that summer. Is when you register, you just pick a name, put your credit card credentials, boof, you're onboarded. You can start working on it. What else I would like to have? I would like to be able to store my funds in a way that I have access from many different places. I can access it from the web, I can access it from the mobile, I have somewhere secure storage where I can call or I can send an email and restore my keys. And this is the second example flow that is working as of today, which allows you to connect one device to the other device using connect another device to your funds using other device. So, universal login, here's a quick demo. We just did record, I think yesterday. So that's an application we built for DEFCON last year to demo the possibilities. So what I do is I register, I pick a name, and in this particular case, Relayer will pay for me for my deployment and will give me 100 clicks. And 100 clicks is just 100 ERC20 tokens, which is called click. And I can do actions with ERC20 token with clicks here on the left. And now we're connecting another application, which is a wallet that we just started building. I accept, pending authorization, boom. I have two connected. That cost me 3 clicks to connect, so I can see my balance is now subtracted. I can now transfer if I want to some Ether that I have on my account. That's gonna be, this is working on dev environment, so it's really fast. Of course, in reality, it would be a little bit slower. You can see the transaction went through. Good, let me go further. So, and here we're clicking. And the interesting thing about click, if you notice, is it didn't subtract the money from Ether balance, but it subtracted the money from the click balance because we paid for it with clicks. Good, so look once more time at the problem. So token fees, just solved, explained a moment ago. Ethereum-enabled browser, well, there was no Ethereum-enabled browser anywhere on that picture. Fund security, well, we already connected 2 devices, and the whole demo took like under a minute. In the future, we can expect there's going to be more factors of authentication and ways to back up your keys. And onboarding, you saw the flow that we're now working on, which allows you to onboard without needing to do all the 17 steps. And the interesting thing is, if you think about it, users don't even need to know that there is blockchain under the hood. Like the whole flow could completely work without ever revealing to a user, hey, there's some blockchain underneath. There are some just tokens that can mean anything. You could implement it with DAI or whatever you prefer. So how does it work? So first of all, there are 3 key technologies under the hood. There is a personal multi-sig wallet. So that's a smart contract that stores all the funds. We use meta transactions to relay transactions to the multi-sig wallet, so that we don't need Ether on all those different devices that initiate those transactions. And we have universal login idea, which means we put ENS name in top of our smart contract wallet, and we can use it to log in, to create accounts and log in to different services. So in detail, imagine you have a contract wallet, which is in the middle. We have a bunch of different keys stored in different applications. Could be crypto keys on the top. We have a native application, mobile application on your left, and another native application on the laptop, also on your left. And we could even store like encrypted key in a trusted third-party server. So what happens? I'm going to the web application. I want to buy a CryptoKitty. So what I do is I trigger a meta transaction or sign a message to the relayer stating the intention that I would like to do a transaction. What relayer does, it wraps it into normal Ethereum transaction and pays for it. Then contract wallet triggers the transaction, the final transaction, the intention to send money, token, or make a call to the other wallet, the destination wallet, and then the smart contract makes a refund to make sure that relayer get his money back. Could be in Ether, could be in tokens, could be even in ERC-721 token if smart contract and relayer chooses to use that, not other method. And this is all, in ideal world, it is all permissionless, and that's what we're working on. So technological stack, this is all open source, this is all MIT license, you can start playing with it right now. There is great, there's documentation, SDK, open SDK that you can use. There's development environment that you can trigger with one command and start building. It consists of JavaScript SDK that you use in your application, open source layer that relays, of course, smart contracts, and a wallet you just seen a moment ago. On technology side, we are using Ethers.io instead of Web3.js. I think it's getting pretty popular, and most of you already know what it is. We build our own testing framework Waffle we care a lot about quality and security, so we couldn't find anything really good on the market. And we are formally verifying contracts. We are roughly 20% through. It's all in our monorepo, so you can see it as we go. It's part of continuous integration, so you can see how it goes. And I'm happy to tell you that our team grew a little bit, and we have now 5 different people working on it. And we have a growing group of contributors from all around the world. We are also a grantee of ETHPrize and ECF. And also, I'm happy to tell you that we get a lot of traction. There's a lot of interest, a lot of people coming to GitHub, creating issues, asking questions. And we have a longer and longer queue of startups that are willing, that hope to do pilots with us pretty soon. On technology side, I just wanted to show you that's the all code you need. We're running out of time, so I don't wanna explain all the details, but that's all code you need to create a wallet and relay a transaction. So you can see it's very simple, creating SDK, connecting. This particular one is connecting to Rinkaby. And there is a message that basically looks like an Ethereum transaction, but with one difference. There is a gas token field that you didn't see before, and gas token fields defines the token that you hope to pay for the gas with. So if you would like to learn more, please visit universallogin.io. Come to our GitHub. It's still early version, but we aim to be on production this summer. That's a lot of work to do before we get there. And if you would like to get updates, watch memes, and listen to philosophy, follow me on Twitter under ETH Marek. Thank you.